Hello to those of you who feel called to this reading in particular. My goal is to give you a message that the universe has for you at this very moment. First, we're going to start with one card for the context or the general energy. If at the end of this reading you find that you liked it, hit the like button to show me that. And if you want to stick around to be a part of the community that I'm trying to create, subscribe and hit that notification bell. You can also find me on TikTok and Instagram. Links are in the description. So for the general energy, we have the Emperor. Okay. So for the Emperor, this is something about creating stability for yourself. I also get leadership energies here, especially leadership, but there's emphasis on the fact that, I don't know if you can hear the birds outside, but that might be significant. But with leadership, you also have to be able to create structure and order for yourself and create stability for yourself, provide for yourself, and all that stuff. Oh. Okay, now we're going to move on to I feel so distracted right now. But anyway, let's just get started with the next part of this. I'm going to do a 5x2 spread with the Prisma Visions Tarot. And by the way, for this one, that was the Nightmare Before Christmas. Just in case you wanted to know. This is really interesting. We have the Tower. So these are both Major Arcana cards. So these are some pretty powerful energies. There's been some sort of breakdown and you're being called to rebuild something. That's what I feel with this. The Nine of Swords. So in this card, there's a lot of fear, potentially paranoia, like anxiety, worrying, like a really deep-rooted feelings. Like it feels like it goes back to childhood. And I think right now you're being called to face those fears. Because I feel like at one point, like you didn't get to process life like you were supposed to growing up. Oh, I definitely feel that one. The Hermit. With the third eye. I love this energy. So the Hermit really reflects how deep these anxieties are here because of how deeply you're being called to reflect with the Hermit, another Major Arcana. I feel like in general you're really being asked to change how you view loss and focus on your anxieties. If you've been working on, if you're someone who experiences both depression and anxiety, you may be being called to focus more on your anxiety at this time. You know, I just heard like, courage, using your voice, those kinds of things. And with the third eye, I'm picking up on High Priestess energy. Listen to yourself, trust yourself, and believe in yourself, and know that things are never as bad as they seem. Three of Pentacles. This is part of what you're trying to build for yourself. You need to set aside time to look within and to contemplate and to ground yourself, those sorts of things, just to reconnect in a spiritual way on a regular basis. Honestly, I could see how that could actually help with consistency with what you're trying to build for yourself. You gotta be kidding me. You got the High Priestess with the third eye as well. Oh, I felt that card was gonna come up too. Oh my god. That's just insane. Alright, so with the High Priestess, Again, this is just reiterating here, but special emphasis on trusting yourself and believing in yourself. If you see the number 111, don't be afraid to follow your own path. And don't be afraid to make your own decisions and be who you are, to stand alone and be independent. Because the way I'm feeling it right now, you're just another way that the universe can communicate through. If that makes sense. Eight of Cups. I like seeing this here with the Nine of Swords. So with the Eight of Cups, this tells me there's a lot to unpack. Emotional baggage might ring a bell. A bell might be significant. Wow. With the Eight of Cups, I think this is just emphasizing that you need to focus on your anxiety, and that, this breakdown, this is like encouragement for you to start fresh and like build. I mean, it's kind of interesting in a way because you get to build something of your own by your own hands, you know what I mean? And I'm also being told that focusing on your anxieties in terms of how to alleviate them, like how to change your perspective and stuff like that. Oh, I don't remember what I was gonna say. Well, you weren't supposed to know, I guess. You're the Knight of Swords. Oh, that's really, really interesting. Under the Nine of Swords. Really interesting. So a Knight of Swords, this is somebody who's too good at believing in themselves and trusting themselves. They have a lot of courage, and they don't, in an unhealthy way, they don't consider the consequences. But the energy that I'm kind of getting right now is like, it's light energy. And this is about your inner child and that kind of courage. Like, almost like childhood naivety, but since you're grown now, you're not going to make bad decisions because you've lived and you've learned. But, there's definitely like some feeling of trying to break out of something. Maybe the devil energy might be significant. And the Knight of Pentacles, okay. I like seeing that too. So, I mean, that's actually a very clear message under the Hermit. So the Knight of Pentacles is someone who's focused on something, they're patient, they're consistent, they know how to plant a plant and make it grow. Like, you're being asked to embody that energy when it comes to reflecting, whatever you do to focus on your mental health and change your perspective and grow spiritually, whatever's relevant for you. But you're definitely, in terms of, this is like working hard energy, and this is, deep reflection, and so you're just really being asked to dig in there and to understand your anxieties and how you can actually use them to empower you, honestly. I have the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups, I don't know why I whispered that. Okay. So, I see you are building something for yourself, but there's also a loss, or just trying to process loss in general, the idea of it. You're going to have to move at your own pace with what you're trying to build. There is a warning here, getting in this Knight of Swords energy, the courage, it can cause you to be overambitious, workaholic type stuff. So whenever you need to slow down and reflect, to prioritize this reflecting, whenever you need to do that, do it. I just got flashed the King of Cups. You're definitely being encouraged to focus on your mental health and your emotions. I wouldn't be surprised if you were seeing the number 222. That's interesting too, because with the Three of Pentacles. I'm thinking of, like, the Two of Swords, Two of Cups, blah, blah, blah. Oh, we have the Five of Pentacles. That's so interesting, because we have two fives, two knights. That's really interesting. So the Five of Pentacles. there's an opportunity here. It's weird because it's like your spirituality is like an undercurrent, but it's hard to describe. But like financially, your financial issues, resource issues, those are guiding you in terms of where you can find wisdom for healing, if that makes sense. And then we have the Nine of Cups. Now we have 2 9s. If you hear a small cat, he's outside the door. Just don't mind him. He's very needy. I love seeing the 9s here with this 8, especially with, 8 of Cups, 9 of Cups. It's so, like, pink and relaxing. I don't know. It just looks very, like, this is definitely something to do with a wish or emotional comfort or emotional stability and achieving that. I'm trying to see what else I might be able to get from this. That Mars destructive energy is definitely here without a doubt, and the moon here, that might be relevant. Actually, the Mars energy here is very strong. Things are very destructive, but hey, after destruction comes rebuilding, like, you gotta make room, pretty much. Okay, so now I want to pull 4 cards from these custom cards that I made. Own up to who you are and who you've been with no shame. Your past only makes you a bad person if you let it. I feel called to talk here about bad people. I don't believe in evil. I believe in pain. And I just think the world needs to be a more compassionate place. I just saw 12:22 on the clock, and there's a message here of meeting the universe halfway. If you're trying... Oh my god. Just spiritual messages, don't mind me. But own up to who you are and who you've been with no shame. I really feel like that's associated with the Hermit and these anxieties and healing. I feel like they are around shame and like how you've been treated in the past. And I feel called to mention that if you don't overcome the pain, you will become what you hate. It's real. I've seen it. Like, you can always find out, but I just don't think it's worth it, Wow. Anxiety is just a feeling. Feeling that fear isn't what will hold you back. It's how you choose to deal with the fear. That's definitely true. And I'm going to tell you an honest story. I went to the dentist by myself, and I threw up before the appointment. Wasn't the first time I've thrown up before an appointment. I had panic attacks in high school before presentations. I know anxiety. But what really helped me was knowing that it's just a feeling. And your feelings can only control you if you allow it, Something here maybe about being emotionally reactive that's coming up for some reason. Everything that's meant to fall into place will. The number 13, that's really interesting. The number 13 here tells me that there's some, like, I feel devil energy, but also luck, like almost like you need to make a choice. But everything that's meant to fall into place will. Some of the worrying that you do is missing out and not being where you're meant to be, but that's like literally impossible unless, I don't know, it's just impossible. Just everything that's meant to fall into place will. You are where you are for a reason. And with this 2 of Wands that I'm seeing, you mentioned discover why. I just saw 444. I know picking yourself up again time after time is getting heavy, but getting up again is the only way to keep going. Believe in your strength. I do feel called to talk about ways Like, it's always good to slow down when you need to, always. But it's also good to push yourself. You just have to know when to slow down and when to push yourself. So, honestly, if things are feeling heavier, I would suggest slowing down to the point of meditating, like really not distracting yourself a lot. Like, if you like to, maybe sit on the back porch, like, or if you can, maybe connect with nature, do whatever you need to do. But I do feel like there needs to be more dedicated effort towards your mental health, or more consistent effort, for sure. But that's the end of your reading. I'd love to hear any comments you have in the comment section, if you have any. And if you'd like to offer more support for what I'm trying to create, you can do so by donating through the thanks button directly below the video. Absolutely not obligated, but always very much appreciated. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you around.